Yeah, I'm like a monkey, man. My head is itchy. Put a hat on. The Trident. Fear the Trident. What's up, everybody? I just watched Guns and Glory. It was episode 7 on the 1999 Indo Pak War in Kargil, part 1. And first, let me just start off by saying I've watched several of these episodes for this web series. I don't know if it was a web series or if it was on TV. And first of all, it's really good because it's like the history of India in war, and you learn a lot more about the subject matter. And number two, I'm really surprised that that this isn't got 1 million subscribers. This is a phenomenal resource, phenomenal tool, and I'm just shocked that more people don't subscribe to it. So prior to watching this, if you said, "Okay, Professor, tell me what you know about Kargil," I would say, "Aha, Kargil was a war, part of the Pakistani war. A lot of heroes came out of it, like Batra, the man who made Pakistan cry. He somehow saw Pakistani troops crossing the border, and they were pinned down, and he went and took them all on and killed, I think, 8 of them. And there were some other people who did some great stuff, but I can't really give you a lot of specifics. But, ooh, those neighbors to the west, right? That's all I could tell you, because I'm an ignorant American." And so I watched this episode. Man, oh man, I had no idea. The sneakiness, the lack of integrity, the cowardice of your neighbors to the west. No idea. And so what this episode did, and I apologize if I get it wrong, because I am dyslexic, and I'm like Raman Raghavi when it comes to the Hindi language. I'm a serial killer. I will butcher it up, so please forgive me in advance, my friends. It starts off with this plan that was hatched long ago that Pakistan was just sitting on. And one of the guys who was behind it was Musharraf. And when I saw Musharraf on this, I was like, oh, hell no. Musharraf? I knew he was ISI and that he was military, but what I knew of Musharraf is he was George Bush's buddy. And Bush would kind of lean on him and point a finger and say, "Now, Musharraf, you need to help us now." And he'll be like, okay, we're going to help you. But I had no idea. So what we saw was Vajpayee. It was Vajpayee wanted a new era with Pakistan, a do-over. How do we get past our differences and move forward? And he went to the border closing, and I've done videos on this border closing, and he was there taking a bus. I think it was a bus line, a new company decided they were going to make a bus line that would take you to the border crossing. So he decided he would be part of this first ride to go there, and they had this deal where they were going to meet the Pakistani prime minister at the time, and they were going to have kind of like a peace summit. And they said that he was the first one in 10 years, the first Indian prime minister in 10 years to be in Pakistan. So he goes there, he gets off the bus, the prime minister of Pakistan is there with his entourage, and Musharraf was supposed to be there. He's missing. He is so enraged by this. He is so pedo about this, which speaks to something. I think it speaks to the true character, right? Because out of the heart, the mouth speaks. You know people who are always kind and encouraging, it's because they're kind and encouraging in their heart. If you know somebody who's always nasty and negative, it's because they're nasty and negative in their heart. Out of the heart, the mouth will speak, right? That's all you remember, that, my friends. And so Musharraf is so pissed off about this, so pissed off about it, that he's meeting with his other general buddies. And Vajpayee gets off and shakes the Pakistani prime minister's hand and then goes in for the hug. The Modi hug. This must be where the Modi hug comes from, because he goes in for it. And the Pakistani prime minister looks horrified. Oh no, what are you doing? And this plan, the Kargil war plan, is then hatched out of this. And so apparently there's a period of time in India where the Kargil area, and I've always been fascinated with it because it reminds me very much of Flagstaff area, kind of, from if you went from like maybe Camp Verde up to Flagstaff. Mountainous, snowy, cold, it looks the same, right? And there's a period of time across the LOC. So there's an LOC, which if you don't know what that is a line of control. And it's the line of, it's the border. It's the area between India and Pakistan, and the LOC is we stay on this side, you stay on that side, right? So they've always kind of had troops monitoring the LOC to make sure India doesn't cross over and vice versa. And there was some kind of understanding that they had with Pakistan that during this period of time, the Indian soldiers left their posts to go to a festival. I think that's what it was, a festival, but I did not catch the festival's name. The episode was moving way too quickly. Apparently, Indians are much more comfortable speaking about Hindi things than I am, because he was a mile a minute. I was like, what was it? I don't know. And so Pakistan knew this was coming, and they crossed over when nobody was there, and they started fortifying their position. How cowardly. Seriously, like, how freaking cowardly, dude? So they cross the position, and there's a was he Kashmirian? No, I think he was a Kargil local. But I think he was of Kashmirian descent, living in the Kargil area. And somehow he got his hands on some super binoculars, and he was looking for something to go hunting for. He wanted to go hunting for game, or I don't know. I don't know if he's going to eat it or what. He's going to go hunting. And so he's getting his binoculars out, and he's looking, and he sees something that's like, looks like commandos, but the Indian army has pulled out because they're doing their festival. What the hell is this? So he calls the authorities, and the authorities like, get out of here. There ain't nothing up there. So they finally decide that let's do some patrols. So they do some patrols. They see some flyover stuff, and they see some stuff, but it kind of made it sound like this was like normal, goofy, there's a troop crossing over. Yeah, whatever, just a dude. Leave him alone. Who cares? We ain't going to have a war over this. And they decide to say, you know what, let's send out a team. Let's send out a team just to check on it. 5 men. 5 beautiful, brave Indian men went out on patrol. And they never came back. They never came back. And after 22 days, they found the bodies. They were burned with cigarettes. Their eardrums were punctured by something hot. Limbs were cut off, amputated. And India said, wait a minute. What happened? We were at a festival. And then they realized the Pakistanis were entrenched. They were entrenched across the LOC, occupying Indian ground. America was petitioned for help. Said, nah, this is not really our business. Whatever you guys do, it's none of my business. India was concerned because Pakistan had nukes. Will this cause a nuclear war? Because we have such huge populations that would be affected. And a plan was hatched to go take it. A plan was hatched to go take the ground. And I learned about an Indian fighter jet pilot who had to eject and was captured. I learned about the Mad Bull, I think is what they called him, of the Indian Armory, who just started taking it to these areas and just blowing them to crap. And I was just so emotional after seeing this, because there was no honor in this. This wasn't like, you know what, we got a problem with you, India, and we don't respect you as a people, and we're going to invade because we don't think you can do anything about it. It wasn't even that. It was sneaky. And I understand countries have special ops. And I understand America has done special ops. This wasn't special ops. This was cowardly. This was of no valor. And when I go through the comments and I see the comments from your neighbors to the west who are ripping me about whatever, fear Pakistan, get out of here. Get out of here. What are you talking about, fear Pakistan? Pakistan exists because of America. And I think you're going to see it implode as American support continues to pull away. Trump has had it with them. I'm just telling you, Trump has had it with them. He doesn't understand, like, why is India a good friend and you are not? And why are you always hiding people there? Friends don't hide enemies from friends, right? They don't do that. And you got a habit with it, too. So this was a really good look. And again, this was the first episode of Cargill, and there are more, and I'll watch more of them. But, man, oh man, if you have not seen this, Guns and Glory, if you have not seen it, go see it. And if you haven't subscribed to these people, go subscribe to this, because this was just top notch. This was so informative. I cried afterwards. Because the Indians were up against all odds. It was an ambush. It was a surprise. It was cowardly. Pakistan had the high ground. Fighting uphill is like impossible to do. It's very, very hard. You're going to take major casualties. The high ground always has the advantage. That's why there's a saying in America, always take the high ground. Always be above your opponent. In India fought. And then you put Bartra's, the man who made Pakistan cry, you put his sacrifice in that context. Oh my God. Oh my, there needs to not just be these great YouTube videos about this guy. He needs to have his face etched into the mountain like Mount Rushmore in America. This dude went up against the impossible and won. Z Studios, where's the movie about this guy? Somebody make a movie about this guy and give the proceeds to his family. This was an amazing war effort. This is the fight uphill. Without camouflage, without smoke, covering you, without, stealth equipment, just to fight in the open? Uphill? You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. It is one of the bravest attacks of my lifetime. Just amazing. I was amazed to see it. This. So India, precious India, I salute you. I salute you and your heroes and your martyrs. You are the true heroes. Indian military, you are the true heroes. Unbelievable. Go watch this if you haven't seen it. And if you haven't seen it, shame on you. I'm going to shame you. Shame on you. You should go see this. This is an outstanding series.